Welcome to Political Beatdown. I'm Ben Meiselas, joined by Michael Cohen. It's June 27, 2024. It's debate night, the first presidential debate of this election season between President Biden and convicted felon Donald Trump will be taking place in just a few hours. There are lots of people who are trying to act like this is just a normal presidential debate, and they try to compare it to debates in the past where there was significant impact, Nixon versus JFK, or when people thought that Al Gore was going to easily defeat George W. Bush in their first debate. This is nothing like that or anything close to that in terms of the importance and in terms of the difference between candidates. On the one hand, in President Biden, someone who supports democracy, supports American institutions, supports the America and the Constitution that I think that we all thought existed, except for this MAGA movement, this MAGA mutation. On the other hand, you have Donald Trump, who is running as an anti-democracy, pro-authoritarianism candidate. And he may try to pretend that that's not what or who he is, but listen to his answers and pay attention. Look, the American people deserve this debate. The American people deserve to not hear how Fox tries to filter what Donald Trump says, or right-wing media, or his sycophants, what they try to say. From Americans deserve to hear the distinction. And the only thing that I'm hoping for more than anything is just that the whole thing takes place, that the candidates are able to talk and express their views pursuant to the rules, and that the debate just happens. I think that the American people deserve to see these two candidates more than anything. And that's what's kind of most important to me. Michael Cohen, what's your initial reflection as we head into this debate?
I sit and I listen to all of these pundits, and truthfully, none of them know Donald Trump. They only know him, from television or their 3 minutes of communication with him by asking a question and so on. I've tried to explain this to many people that are around Biden in the preparation. President Biden needs to come out swinging, and he needs to come out and swing hard. So, for example, we did this the other day, and we had a lot of fun with it, Ben. Kind of like what should Biden's right out of the gate response to Trump be? And somewhere along the line, again, it's not just what you're saying, it's also the delivery. So Biden, no matter what the question, look, my opponent has no sense of reality. The man brags about once passing a basic cognition test over 4 years ago. My opponent thinks that the ability to draw a clock, identify an elephant, or remember a 5-item list is such a feat. It's such a feat of magnitude that he should be president of the United States based upon this cognition test. That's what he needs to come out and say, where, it's an elegant way of calling Donald an asshole and an idiot. That's what Biden has to do, because right now, what Trump's people are telling him, you need to go out there and you need to defy all of these pundits saying that you're going to be bombastic, that you're going to be impossible to control. And as you already know, they're going to cut mics and you have a certain period of time and so on. Donald, that's not the way that you're going to win this debate. That's not the way that you're going to end up winning the election. You need to show America that you are stronger than they think you are, blah, blah, blah. Here's the truth. Donald can't handle it. All right. He can't handle anybody poking fun at him. He can't handle somebody questioning his intelligence or his capabilities. So when you hit him with that cognition test, and I believe that each and every one of our brigaders will say the same thing. When he was out there and bragging about how well he did, man, woman, child, camera, TV, blah, blah, blah. I was able to identify an elephant. Whoa, really? Mazel to you. You know what? I'm voting for you, Mr. Elephant Identifier guy. That's what you need to do. And it's not just what you say, it's how Joe Biden says it. He has to say it with a smile and with a laugh and sort of like, a political beatdown, two-finger salute. That's what he needs to do.
This is what Donald Trump has been posting. Things like this. Trump preps for debate against Biden by going to nursing home and arguing with dementia patients. That's one of the things Trump's posted on his social media platform. It's interesting because in a way, what you're saying, Cohen, too, is that what Donald Trump's advisors are really telling him is for you to win Donald Trump, you have to act not like Donald Trump. You have to, for this 90 minutes, act like a different person and try to trick the American people. On the other hand, the Biden folks are telling Biden, you need to go out and be the best Biden you can be and be that Biden who gave the State of the Union. And so to me, that distinction, right? The Trump advisors don't act like Trump. Act different. When they ask you these questions, do not act like what is your instinct to act. Act like you care about the climate when you don't. Act like you haven't said that the January 6th insurrectionists are hostages. Act like you haven't said that you trust Vladimir Putin over America's intelligence agencies. Act different. Act. Put on an act, Donald. Pretend that this is reality TV and go out there and act and behave like a different person, right? That's his guidance that they're giving him, where Biden is the opposite. I want to share this with you, Cohen. These are the rules of the debate tonight. You have Victor Blackwell from CNN explaining how each man's microphone will be muted when it's not their turn to speak. He and Phil Mattingly demonstrated what that looks like and sounds like. I think we have a clip of what this is going to look like where CNN lays it out with the format. Let's play it.
If we go behind the podiums, you can see two green lights. When they're on, they signal to the candidate his microphone is on. When the green lights are off, they signal to the candidate his microphone is off. Now I want to give you a sense of what it will look like for viewers at home if a candidate whose microphone is off interrupts a candidate whose microphone is on. So I'm standing at one podium, and I'll ask Phil to come in and take the other podium. And so let's say I'm answering a question. My light is green, and I'm speaking. Phil's microphone is off, and his green lights are not illuminated. He's going to interrupt me as I'm speaking, and this is what it will sound like. My volume remains constant, while Phil's interruption can be difficult to understand.
Let's try the opposite. My microphone is now on. Victor's microphone is off, and he's going to interrupt me. My volume remains constant, while Victor's interruption can be difficult to understand. We should note, by agreeing to participate in this debate, both campaigns and candidates have also agreed to abide by these rules. The CNN presidential debate airs live at 9 p.m. Eastern.
A convicted felon has agreed to abide by the rules.
The stupidest reenactment I've ever seen. Well, okay, you can't do it, and these are the rules, and that everybody agreed to abide. Donald Trump doesn't abide by rules. Rules don't apply to him. Not only do rules not apply to him, neither do the laws. And do you really think they're only something like 6 feet away from each other? Go ahead, Ben. Try to say something. And then he's just going to start shouting louder. So it's going to get picked up by the other guy's mic. Maybe it's not going to be as clear as the other. Listen, let me be very clear about something. Donald knows what's coming at him tonight. All right. I get a lot of people calling me and saying, Michael, do you think that he doesn't even show up? Now they're turning on this saying that he's willing to take a drug test right now, but Joe Biden is not. And, this is unfair and so on and so forth. It's so incredible. It's almost as if they're looking to try to find a reason why Donald should not take the stand today. One of the funniest things somebody had sent to me, it was an entire list of various different questions that they believe CNN, or if they had people, Ben, like you or me, turning around and sending questions in. The question that they would want to hear is something like, Mr. Trump, numerous members of your company, your campaign, and your administration have been convicted of crimes, including yourself. How would you respond to those who might say this is not a witch hunt, but a pattern? And, Mr. Trump, you happen to be the common denominator. How would you respond to that? That's the kind of question that they need to bring out. Now, let's say CNN chooses not to do that. What Joe Biden has to say is, and we know that he's going to call him a felon, you have to turn around and you have to say in your answer somehow, whatever the question might be, Donald, look at the number of people. Here, let me give you the example, Donald. In your company, in your campaign, yourself included, numerous members of the administration have all been convicted. Some are right now in jail as we speak, including yourself, right? You know how many people in my administration? You know how many? 0. You know how many from my campaign? Yep, you know the answer. 0. You know how many from my company? 0, because I don't have a company, right? He's got to bring a little humor, interject a little humor into this as well. You think maybe the question about him being a common denominator should not come out by Joe Biden during this debate? It would be a massive, massive mistake.
Couldn't agree more with you. But just take a look at some of the stuff that Trump's posting, Cohen. This is, to your point, like, you think Trump's going to follow the rules? Like, as I started this episode, we are in such uncharted territory in the history of our country, in the history of our democracy. I mean, he's out there posting things like this. This is part of an actual video that he just posted moments ago. Let me show it to you.
Bidenica, and I've never slept better. Sometimes when I get hopped up on sugar, my parents give me Bidenica so I pass out. Other times they give it to me during the day, probably so they can do the deed. Gross.
I mean, look, I don't know whether the folks that are in the Trump campaign think that they're funny or anything like that. It's not funny. It's not clever. It's childish. It's churlish. It's stupid. With all due respect, what the Biden administration should do is they should be coming out with more and more ads, of somebody with, wearing a Trump mask, so you only see it from behind, in an orange jumpsuit, working on the chain gang or breaking rocks on the side of the road or something like that, and say, I want to be clear about something. One of the two people that are running for the presidency of the United States is a felon, and the other is not. You choose. Make it simple. And there will be people that will say, I choose the felon. Okay. I mean, that just really makes a lot of sense. But sure, you have people that are so knee deep into this dumpster cult of Trump that they will turn around and walk around with a T-shirt that says, I vote for the felon. All right. Me personally, I'd be wearing a T-shirt that says, fuck the felon.
Here is what these MAGA crybabies are doing right now. Here you have Stephen Miller posting, remember, if you see Biden bizarrely shouting, not blinking, and slurring while fast talking tonight, it's because he's on drugs. As our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, said, these whiny crybabies always seem to know so much about this topic when projecting accusations onto others. The Trump White House was a pill mill under Ronnie Jackson. It actually was a pill mill. I mean, the Department of
Ronnie
Defense.
Johnson, you all know Congressman from Texas, Ronnie Johnson. He doesn't even know the guy's name, Mr. fucking genius.
I mean, the amount of fentanyl patches, Versed, which is the date rape drug, ketamine, Provigil, Adderall, a bunch of other hard drugs were dispensed so recklessly and carelessly during the Trump White House. We're always going to keep bringing it up here on the Midas Touch Network on this show and our other shows. But, you know, when you hear Ronnie Jackson say, so here's what I think the cocktail is that they're preparing for Biden, he's like listing the drugs that were on the list of drugs in the White House when he was the doctor there. Provigil, this one, that one. Here's what Charlie Kirk, one of the main MAGA influencers, has to say. Here's what he just posted. Everyone keeps saying there will be no fans allowed in the audience in tonight's debate. That's not true. Joe Biden will have 2 fans sitting up close, Dana Bash and Jake Tapper. And our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski,
he's so clever.
The whining and crying continues.
Oh, he's so clever. I mean, how great was that, right? How great was that? They're already projecting the fact that they know that Trump is a complete and total disaster and that he doesn't understand the minutia. He's not interested in the minutia. Explain to me, Ben, if they start deciding to talk about, for example, the economy and why do Americans believe that Donald Trump is better equipped? Imagine how ridiculous this is, that Donald Trump is better equipped to deal with our economy than Joe Biden. Time the fuck out for a second, folks. All right, let's be real clear. Stock market is at an all-time high. Okay, there you go. Stock market, an all-time high. Your 401k kicking ass. All right. You're talking about unemployment, an all-time low. I mean, we can go on. You have minority, you have black wealth increase has never been higher. And you talk about all the various different things. The U.S.'s gross domestic product, our economy, is at least 2.5 times greater than any other economy in the world. We are now, as of a couple of days ago, I think we are 100% right now energy self-sufficient. The amount of oil that we are producing in this country for ourselves makes us energy independent. All right. Trump? Really? The 7-time bankrupt, sexual offending, business fraud violator, 34-count felon. Really? This is the guy who you think is better for the economy? Why? Because he's turning around telling you he's going to round up the largest roundup of migrants and put them into internment camps? The fuck are we talking about? What is this? The 1930s, early 1940s? We're talking about internment camps? I mean, what is he babbling about? Why is anybody taking this orange-crusted Mandarin ass clown serious? The guy couldn't run a fucking business that he received hundreds of millions of dollars from daddy. He couldn't run that business properly, and he's going to run the United States economy? Come on, man. What are we doing?
Well, he's got tens of billions of dollars of right-wing money injecting that propaganda every single day at the national cable news level with Fox and all of the lies that Fox tells every single day, to the local TV level with Sinclair and the lies that they spread across local television every single day, to the lies that are spread on social media platforms like X and others. I mean, there are billions and billions of dollars invested into these lies by a class of Americans who wants to be the oligarchs, a la the oligarchs of Putin, and they don't care about our democracy. It's why it's important that shows like this and the network like the Midas Touch Network really springs up from the fact that the corporate media is doing the both side stuff. They're trying to normalize that. You don't hear any of what you just said, though, other than maybe a very small segment, Cohen. I'll say corporate media does mention it occasionally, but corporate media goes by narratives, right? The narrative that's run by corporate media is kind of indistinguishable from the narrative that's pushed by the right-wing media. Then corporate media wants to act like they're being fair. So they say, well, we're not into advocacy, so we're just going to platform these lies that are told by Trump and these MAGAs. And again, the lies too, Cohen, are so predictable. It's the same thing that they always do. Their moves are so obvious. I mean, this is what Don Jr. just posted a few hours ago, moments ago. He wrote this. Live TV has a 7-second delay. Why on earth would CNN need a 1 to 2 minute delay unless they were planning and manipulating tonight's debate? Same with Biden refusing to take drug test. If he wasn't jacked up on all sorts of drugs, why wouldn't he submit to such an easy test? As Midas News editor-in-chief Ron Filipkowski writes, CNN has said that it will start at exactly 9. There will be no delay. This is just the latest conspiracy theory for the crybaby party as they continue to lie and lie. It's just what they do. And you may be saying, well, where's Don Jr. getting that information from? Accounts like this, the big right-wing influencer account, one of the big voices right now in the Republican Party is cat turd. It's cat feces. It's this account right. It's this account right here.
He's attacked me quite a few times. Cat turd.
Cat turd is one of the big, and it's not. This isn't even like a joke. Like that is a big right-wing account. Don Jr. has appeared on shows with the cat turd, with the kind of emoji of the cat turd itself there, or the avatar, and cat turd spreads the lie. Here we go. CNN is already trying to cheat. And then, Cohen, you just go back, though, to the headlines from 2016 and 2020. They're headlines like this. As Aaron Frischner says, he goes, somewhere Donald Trump is wondering to himself how many times he can get away with doing these exact same stupid bits before a debate. He doesn't even change it up a little bit. Just counts on mass amnesia, which always seems to work out. And you look at these exact headlines.
That's not really true, Ben. It doesn't always work out. You and I on this program and on others have demonstrated the number of people, Trump supporters, people that stood on lines to go to rallies. And while the rally was going on and Donald starts going into one of these, riffs about sharks or electrocution or batteries and yachts run by batteries or the great late Hannibal Lecter, they pick themselves up and they leave. That, how many times, and it's salty, if you're there and you have the old video, I mean, how many of these videos have we seen so far of people just picking themselves up and leave? Now, of course, what does Trump's what do? They go ahead and they talk about the size of the crowd. The place holds, say, 10,000 people in it. There were 80,000 people in the audience. 80,000. The place only holds 10,000. Right. And it wasn't full. You could see off to the left, there's nobody there. Off to the right, there's nobody there. They have everybody at dead center. And then if you really look closely during a lot of this sort of rambling horse shit that comes out of that gaping fucking hole under Donald's nose, all of a sudden you see people standing up, shaking their head, and then they leave. So nobody's being fooled by Donald's stupidity. And I'll tell you something, too. Tonight's going to be a very interesting night. And again, everybody's trying to say, oh, this is Biden's night in order to really lose it or to win it. I totally disagree. It's the night that either of them are totally going to get bashed or they're going to win this thing. Joe Biden is a guy who understands the minutia. This is a guy that just finished with the G7 summit. This is a guy who was off in Israel trying to negotiate some peace and a truce between Israel and Hamas, get the hostages back, and figure out something Middle Eastern peace. Do I think he's going to be able to do it? Absolutely not. This sort of fighting's been going on for 3,000 years. All right. This isn't like it happened yesterday and you could fix it tomorrow, like Trump will tell you. In fact, I really hope that one of the questions that they ask him, Mr. Trump, to be honest with you, you've said on dozens of occasions at rallies and on various different press programs that you could fix the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours. You also have stated that you could resolve the Israel-Hamas war in 24 hours and many other things as well. Can you tell us what the secret formula is that you would employ, that you would be able to do these things in 24 hours when your opponent hasn't seemed to be able to do it in over 3 years? And by the way, you weren't able to accomplish it in your 4 years either. That's a really good question to ask. They're going to start asking him questions that holds him to account on the things that he says. And then Trump, of course, is going to turn around and he's going to claim it's an unfair question. It's a nasty question. That's what he's going to do. And if Joe Biden can really just beat it down right there, do a political beatdown right then and there, criticize Trump's intelligence, the fact that he has no idea what he's talking about, that he's a con man, a felon, that he lies in everything that he does, and the people that he has around him are also lying for him, blah, blah, blah. You'll see this guy go completely unhinged on television. In fact, if Biden keeps it up and he does it again with the smile and a smirk and so on, those are the things that really get under Donald's skin. Don't be shocked if this debate doesn't go the full night.
I think what exists right now is also a phenomenon that will be discussed after the general election, which is the silent Biden voter. And one of the goals that I have here, though, is to speak to those people because they're not really silent. It's just corporate media isn't talking to them. They're out there talking. And one of the ways I identified them, and you did as well, Cohen, is we received tens of thousands of messages. I would say over the course of the 10,000 videos we've done, probably over 100,000 or close to it messages from people who kind of fit this description of either independent or former mainstream Republican. Maybe they consider themselves a Reagan supporter, or they voted for George W. Bush, and they may have voted for Donald Trump the first time. They may have even voted for Donald Trump the second time, but there was a breaking point, whether it was January 6th or something like that. And there is, look, you can say, well, they should have realized this sooner. And my response to that is I welcome anybody to the pro-democracy community, and I'm not going to be judgmental and critical because we're at an existential moment right here. But here's an individual by the name of Kyle Sweetser, who I recently interviewed, and I hear this story over and over again, how important character is and decency and democracy over authoritarianism. Take a listen.
The longer you stare at Trump and his record, the worse it gets. So, Trump's cozying up to foreign, basically adversaries. He's, oddly enough, some people don't like me saying this, but he's less conservative than Biden on fiscal responsibility. He added $8 trillion to the debt, even without COVID. He's not fiscally responsible. He gave people a license to act bad out in the open, and I think that the MAGA movement just needs to be destroyed. And I think any rational person that starts listening to Trump instead of directly, instead of having someone else regurgitate what Trump says, I think if you listen to Trump and then you listen to Biden speak, it's night and day. There's no comparison. Trump is unhinged and he's just not fit to lead. Certainly not fit to be the president of the United States.
Cohen, I want to talk more about that, but I also want to remind everybody about your new YouTube channel. At the Michael Cohen Show is Michael Cohen's new YouTube channel. It is doing incredible. About 30,000, 31,000 subscribers in about 5 or 6 days.
Yeah,
I've never seen a YouTube channel grow so quickly, especially in the news category. You're doing daily hot takes. It's a great platform for you to be able to share with the brigaders and everyone who loves mea culpa. And it's new content every day. So please, everybody, if you can, subscribe for free to at the Michael Cohen Show on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe there. We'll be right back. We got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about that clip I just showed Cohen as well when we get back from our first quick break.
A small regret is slouching in the dentist chair thinking, I should have brushed and flossed better. A big health regret is listening to your doctor and thinking, I should have paid attention to nutrition when I was younger. Better health today and when it matters most is why I take Field of Greens. Field of Greens is unlike any fruit and vegetable or green product. Field of Greens isn't watered down extracts. Field of Greens is an organic superfood. It's whole fruits and vegetables. Each fruit and vegetable was selected by doctors to support vital body functions like heart, liver, kidneys, metabolism, and the immune system. And only Field of Greens is backed by a better health promise. At your next checkup, your doctor will notice your improved health or your money back. Don't look back and say, I should have paid attention to nutrition when I was younger. Field of Greens is key to better health today and when it matters most. Let's get you started with 15% off and free shipping. Visit fieldofgreens.com and use promo code BEAT. That's promo code BEAT at fieldofgreens.com. And now let's take a quick break to talk about our next partner, Rhone. If you're like me, you understand the pains of finding out what to wear. Let's face it, most clothes are uncomfortable or too tight or never actually the size that you really are, and not to mention the annoyance of trying to put together a good outfit. And when you finally do have a good fit, you can only wear it for a few hours before you have an important meeting or dinner, and then you have to change. Everyone wants to dress their best and look good at all times because, frankly, it's a confidence booster. So here's the deal. Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention, and Rhone stepped up to the challenge. Rhone's commuter collection is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible set of products known to man. And here's why. Rhone helps you get ready for any occasion with the commuter collection, which offers the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos. You never have to worry about what to wear when you have the Rhone commuter collection. Rhone's comfortable 4-way stretch fabric provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy what life throws your way, from your commute to work to your 18 holes of golf. It's time to feel confident without the hassle. With Rhone's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the products. It's that easy. With the Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, you'll be smelling fresh and clean all day long. And on top of that, Rhone is 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. I absolutely love Rhone. This has truly become my go-to commuter fit. We're on the move a lot, whether it's jumping from meeting to meeting or catching a flight or an important dinner. The Rhone commuter collection has never let me down. The versatility and overall comfort of the collection is undefeated. And even after I wear it all day, I still feel super fresh because of that Gold Fusion anti-odor technology. The commuter collection can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. So right now, head to Rhone.com/Cohen, that's Cohen, and use promo code Cohen to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to RHONE.com/Cohen, Cohen, and use code Cohen. It's time to find your corner office. And now, back to the video.
Welcome back to Political Beatdown. I want to thank our pro-democracy sponsors.
Yes, I wanted to thank our pro-democracy sponsors. You know, you always do it. And, you know, sometimes they say, how come Michael Cohen doesn't ever thank us? Well, yes, on behalf of Ben and myself, I do. I thank you. Now take it away, Ben.
So Cohen, I showed you that clip right there of Kyle Sweetser. I think there's a lot of Kyle Sweetsers out there who regret their votes for Donald Trump in the past, who look, they've been so entrenched in the Republican Party their entire life. It's their identity. So just think about it like a sports team, which is not necessarily your full identity, right? If you were a Mets fan, how difficult would it be to go from a Mets fan to all of a sudden becoming a Yankee fan or rooting for the Yankees? Now that's totally frivolous, right? Mets v. Yankees, it doesn't have an impact. But imagine your entire life you were a Republican, and then your party and your identity was then taken over by some other thing, but you were still told that this was, are you a Republican? This is it. And you know that's not it, but you know that if you move away, you're going to be exiled from your entire life and from your entire community. When we speak to cult deprogrammers and when we speak to people and we try to understand the pathology, because I really want to be empathetic and sympathetic and try to really understand why. Isn't it so obvious? Why is it that people don't leave that? There really is these strong connections all wrapped up in identity and the fear of exile, and then the fear that all of the people who you've let down for your views or that you hurt, you will be conceding that you were wrong. And so paradoxically, rather than admit it, you go further down the rabbit hole. There's a psychological, pathological explanation for it, which is why one of the things I want to open up this network to is to just always let people know that when it comes to compassion and empathy and love and democracy and caring for each other, that this platform focuses almost most on that rather than political tribalism. Cohen.
So look, I agree with you, though the Trump cult is very, very different, believe it or not. You got somebody like Steve Miller, all right? Stephen Miller, by coincidence, happens to be from the same hometown that I'm from. And I can tell you from people who I know who know his family that they are disgusted by him and the things that he's doing and the things that he's saying on their behalf. And I don't know what sort of a relationship that this kid has anymore with his family. He's willing to trade in his family for his position now with Trump. I find it absolutely amazing. And I know for a fact, because this is a guy that never had, he never had any real interaction with media from 2016 through 2020. All of a sudden, you turn on like Newsmax that has Lewandowski as the moderator. And it's very funny because Lewandowski does some weird shit with his mouth. All of a sudden, he's all that. I mean, it's like his jaw has its own separate battery pack. I mean, it's crazy. And then they say the craziest things. But I do also want to say, do you remember, I think it was Animal House. I found this one audio sound. I would love if Biden would pull something like this out. Just imagine this goes on. See, like for me, I'm turning this debate. I'm turning the debate into a Bravo reality show because that's really what it's going to be. Could you imagine if Biden, either he memorizes this or he turns around and he pulls this out of that? I think it was like Dean Wormer from Animal House saying it to like Blutarsky or, one of the other guys from Animal House. And I found the clip. So I just wanted to play it for a quick second.
You just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
That's what he should do. Just pull it out and say, I could not have said it better than the 1970s, recitation by Dean Wormer. What you said just now has made us all much stupider than we were just prior to listening to your answer. That's what Biden needs to do. And again, he needs to do it with almost like a smile. Oh, I feel bad. Some people said that they couldn't hear it. Well, basically, it's what you just said is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, yada, yada, yada. It is hilarious. When it relates to Donald and what's going to happen tonight, you are going to hear it's from Billy Madison? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was from Dean Wormer. My apologies. You may be right. It's another great movie, Billy Madison with Adam Sandler. One of the things that I can say about tonight is that Trump is going to get very frustrated and very quickly. And we're already hearing the rumblings from people inside the Trump camp. When you start to see Don Jr., who's not even in the country right now, I think he's either in Dubai or he's in Oman, where they're doing some real estate project. Imagine, really? Because all the projects that the Trumps have done overseas, whether it's Toronto, whether it was what's the one in Spain, they all have gone out of business. They've all lost the rights to have the Trump name on the properties. I mean, it is what it is. Knock themselves out. But from Oman, he's sitting there and talking about how Joe Biden is on drugs and that, CNN is going to be playing unfair, once again, making Donald the victim. By the way, Ben, have you ever seen anyone, brigaders, have you ever seen anyone more victimized than Donald J. Trump? I mean, come on. You have to feel bad for the guy who is literally victimized every single day since the day that he made the announcement, right, in June of 2015. This guy has been victimized by everybody. I mean, talk about how crazy it is that people are still buying into the victimization of Donald as opposed to Donald victimizing everybody else.
The deal in Oman was brokered by the Saudis, who said that they have Kushner in his pocket. And so while all the MAGA Republicans, all they know how to do is say Hunter Biden, you have Don Jr. on an airplane doing this in a Saudi brokered deal where Saudi Arabia has said, MBS has said that he got the enemy list or the kill list from people like Kushner before MBS had his own purge. And then you have Don Jr. doing this today before the debate. Play this clip.
Guys, I just did a day trip to Dubai and Oman. We have a project in Oman, projects in Dubai, just checking in on them, the day job. Literally, I'm on the ground for 18 hours, and I think I did 30-something hours of flying. But if you're going to fly that much, this is a great way to do it. I'm in first class on Emirates, and this is sick. These beds lie down, go fully flat, the doors closed, you're in your entire enclosed cubbies. Pretty spectacular, great food, more legroom than I can know what to do with, and like I said, the beds fly out flat, and they even have mattresses to go on top of them. So if you're gonna do 18 hours on the ground, a day trip to the Middle East, this is the way to do it. Figured I had to share that one with you guys because I'm a reasonably spoiled individual and this is still pretty spectacular. Have a good one, guys.
It's right in our faces. And how could the cult like that? I mean, that's why everything they do is projection or confession. I think, by the way, the workers in Oman, I think we're making about like $300 a month in connection with that project. Anyway, I could show you more clips of Don Jr., but I don't want to show anymore. It's repulsive.
What would be really interesting too, if the two get into a back and forth debate, I would be interested to understand Donald Trump's newly found fascination with the 10 commandments, considering if you go through each and every one of the commandments, Donald Trump has violated that commandment at some point in time in his life. So it's amazing. Once again, it goes to the whole notion of do as I say clearly, not as I do. And I would love to see Joe Biden turn around and say to him, isn't one of the 10 commandments, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife? Okay, maybe it's not your neighbor, but how about the guy down the block? Or thou shalt not covet, a porn star and a Playboy playmate, right? Thou shalt not, bear false witness, and so on. Really? Because there's nothing that you say that has any semblance of truth to it. In fact, it's been determined that you lied to the American people, forgetting about COVID that cost 1 million Americans their lives. How about, right, you cannot covet your daughter either, right? And you shouldn't be having bad thoughts about her. But at the same time, seriously, I mean, you lied over 35,000 times to the American people, including on an epidemic, on a pandemic? Really?
Here is what it looks like to be a MAGA Republican in Congress today. They have to dress, Donald Trump dresses them up. Just think about that. A co-equal branch of government. Donald Trump makes them wear outfits. And this is how he dresses them up. Here's Congressman Troy Nehls. He makes them wear his gold shoes, his fake gold shoes with the fake red bottoms right there that he sells for $500. He then makes them wear ties with his picture on the ties. And then they say things like, other than faith and family, the only hope we have is President Donald J. Trump. I mean, this is the Republican Party that was supposed to
Thou
be.
Thou shalt not have a God before thee, right? Right? Thou shalt not have a God before me. Yeah.
And they're all like this, and they all go on, and then they just whine. Here is Kat Kamek, MAGA Republican Congresswoman, whining and crying about how biased the debate is before the debate even takes place. Watch this from moments ago.
We know that this is an exceptionally biased debate that he's walking into. Again, shows the confidence that he has, that our team has in walking into this entirely one-sided debate already. But I think it's going to be exceptionally telling if they try to pull a fast one, if they try to mute or silence Donald Trump. Right. The American people at large will see right through this and will be outraged. This can only hurt Joe Biden, not help him by silencing Donald Trump.
Yeah, and we could see.
Here's Andy Ogles, MAGA Republican congressman. Here, play this clip.
By the way, I have my bill, the no juicing Joe, which would require him to divulge, to report to the American people anytime that he takes a mind-altering stimulant, like we know he's going to have to do before this debate. They're going to have him juiced up and jacked up on some sort of cocktail so that he can be lucid and take on, or at least try to debate Donald Trump.
Congressman Andy Ogles, Pride of Tennessee. God bless you, my friend. We'll talk soon.
By the way, here's MAGA Mike Johnson. Let me show you this clip. Let's play it.
Like many, I look forward to hearing Donald Trump lay out his vision for the country. It's a positive vision. It's a forward vision. He is excited. I talked to him, spent a lot of time with him last week down at Mar-a-Lago, and then on the phone over the weekend, and he's in a very good place. And I expect that you're going to see a sharp contrast between President Trump's positive agenda and Joe Biden's proven weakness. And I did a lot of media over the last several days, and everybody wants to know which Joe Biden's going to show up. And look, my summary is this. It doesn't matter if he drinks a whole gallon of energy drinks. He's not going to be able to match the acumen and the readiness of Donald Trump. And that's what we expect. Even if
the acumen.
I mean, could you imagine, there's a funny expression like, and I would say this to MAGA Mike, jerk off. I would say to him, hey, MAGA Mike, do you know the difference between a brown nose and an ass kisser? And the answer is depth perception. All right. There's something wrong with this guy's glasses. The fact that this guy is the Speaker of the House, this lame, fucking pathetic putz, this putz and a half, right? This bootlegger. I mean, it's unbelievable that he's sitting there and he's denigrating the president of the United States, talking about amped up on drugs. Seriously? I mean, that's the only way that you think Joe Biden is going to be able to beat Donald Trump? Donald Trump's nonsensical rantings that go on at his rally. The fact that they're doing this before the debate even takes place, because they know that Trump is going to end up shitting himself. Von Schitzenpants is going to lose it because he is so thin-skinned. He cannot take the heat. They can't ask whatever question. Do you remember in one of the debates in the last election, I think it was Megyn Kelly asked him a question and he didn't like the question. It's a fair question to ask. Turns around and he goes, it's a very nasty question. It's a nasty question. And he doesn't even answer the question. But this is what he's going to do. There is nothing that this man can explain in any significance, with any significance at all, that we're all going to look at him and say, wow, truly, we are all smarter today and understand more about what this topic might be and what the issue is, thanks to you, Donald von Schitzenpants. All right? Nobody's going to be saying that. Now, his MAGA supporters will say, yeah, Donald, you did great. You did great. And so, no. All right? Rest assured, my prediction for tonight, Trump bombs. I think Biden does well. All right? Do I think that each one will have a gaffe? Yeah. I think Biden will also have a gaffe. But so what? So what? I think von Schitzenpants is going to make such a fool out of himself fighting with the moderators day in, like from the beginning to the end of the day. He's going to be fighting with them, thinking that he could bully them. All right. He doesn't have the audience. He's not going to have his mic capability to try to overtalk, even though you're going to hear him yelling in the background. All right. He's going to get so frustrated. I wouldn't be shocked. I give it a 25% chance that von Schitzenpants walks off the stage and says, this is a waste of my time. I'll just beat Joe Biden at the polls.
Let me share with you this, because with everything MAGA Republicans, it's all projection and confession. And so in the lead up to the debate, we prepared this short, which is getting a lot of attention, kind of a throwback to the origins of when Midas Touch first started. But let me share this with you, because what we really call out is what is truly taking place, just the facts and the data. Let's show it to you.
And my stupid people, when I wanted to refute it, they said, sir, don't dignify it with a rebuttal.
Have you been noticing peculiar behavior recently in someone you know?
Carried out by rape.
Someone who mixes fiction and reality?
The late, great Hannibal Lecter is a wonderful man.
Perhaps someone of advanced age you have known for years.
Did you just see Maduro, Venezuela? It's unbelievable, Venezuela.
Of course, we all have our goofs. But consistently odd behavior can be a sign of frontotemporal dementia, a degenerative disease of the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain that dramatically impairs cognitive function. And there are some key signs to look out for, like slurring words.
The failing New York Times by anonymous.
Struggling to find the correct words is another sign.
The Mueller report, I wish, covered the oranges of the investigation.
You may also notice someone veering into incoherent ideas, detached from reality.
You know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not getting near the shark.
Or an inability to complete simple sentences.
Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your...
Other notable symptoms include impaired motor function, such as a wavering limb, and decreased balance, often accompanied by a signature lean or arched stance. If someone you know is demonstrating several or all of these symptoms, they are seriously unwell. As a matter of safety, they must be relieved of critical responsibilities and disqualified from any position of authority. Remember, frontotemporal dementia is a degenerative disease. Cognitive function will never return and will only deteriorate further. Don't ignore the signs.
Michael Cohen, two-finger salute.
So two-finger salute, first and foremost, goes to each and every one of these MAGA assholes who turn around and want to question that Joe Biden is on drugs and that he's going to be all doped up on some sort of a cocktail, from the Stephen Millers to the Don Juniors to the MAGA Mike Johnsons to all of these assholes on Newsmax and Fox News and so on. I mean, beyond the fact that it's disrespectful to the President of the United States, it is untrue. It is not based on any fact at all. And I find it, and honestly, I find it, no one's going to turn around and say, hey, they're going to be, boosting Donald Trump's cognitive ability by giving him some sort of a cocktail that deals with dementia. They have these new drugs out now, that maybe he's on one of those, cocktails. Certainly with his MAGA supporters, he can afford it. Nobody's questioning that. All right. We're just questioning the fact that he's going to act like a human being and not a complete and total asshole. So to each and every one of these MAGA morons, the ones that don't believe that Joe Biden is going to be able to whip the shit out of Donald Trump tonight because Joe Biden knows facts. Joe Biden's been doing this for 50 years. Trump has been screwing shit up for what? 6? To all of you MAGA assholes, fuck you.
Well, we're just hours away from the debate. We will be watching it here at the Midas Touch Network. We'll have some rapid response analysis as well. I want to remind everybody to subscribe to Michael Cohen's new YouTube channel where he posts daily original content. It's at The Michael Cohen Show. At The Michael Cohen Show. Check it out right now and make sure you subscribe. The link is in the description. Let's get to 100,000 subscribers there in record time. We're already at 31,000 subscribers.
32,131.
Everybody subscribe there right now. Also, check out the Mea Culpa podcast, the Blue Mea Culpa podcast, wherever audio podcasts are available. Just search Mea Culpa Blue, hit subscribe. Also, subscribe to the Political Beatdown audio podcast as well. It helps us here immensely with the audio algorithm when you subscribe to Political Beatdown. Subscribe to the Midas Touch YouTube channel as well. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers here, and I'm confident that the at Michael Cohen Show YouTube account will be growing equally fast, and I would expect that to hit 1 million subscribers this year as well. But make sure you subscribe there. Check out patreon.com/political beatdown. We don't have outside investors here at the Midas Touch Network. Our pro-democracy sponsors help fund this network, and you do as well at patreon.com/political beatdown. It really does go a long way to help grow this show, grow this network.
And next week we're going to do our live Patreon, right, Ben?
You heard it right there. So if you've ever wanted to meet Michael Cohen, we will be doing an exclusive Zoom meeting. So if you've yet to meet Michael Cohen over Zoom, go right now, patreon.com/political beatdown. We will be announcing when that Zoom meeting is going to take place for our Patreon members. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Excited for this debate tonight. Keep checking back in at the Midas Touch Network for updates throughout the evening and the morning. Shout out to the Brigaders and shout out to the Midas Mighty.